Welcome to the lair of the Batty Boffin.
Hi there Batty fans, it's time for a little bit more GCSE exam revision with Batilda the Batty Cat. Now today Batilda has thrown a ball downwards and she's thinking about the way it travels, its time and its acceleration and everything. In order to help her work this out, we have this formula up here, which if you do physics you may be familiar with that because that's one of the ones we use there. S is the distance that the ball travels, U is its initial velocity, T is the time for which it's been travelling, and A is the acceleration that it undergoes at the time. Now this is fine if you've got U, T and A and you want S, but Batilda wants to find out T, so she needs a formula for T. Problem is, that's not an easy one to rearrange. So what I'd like you to do please is to rearrange that so that it looks like a standard quadratic in T, and then use the quadratic formula and substitute in to get a formula for T. Okay, off you go with that. Okay, the first bit's pretty simple. We're going to rearrange this to make a quadratic in T. So I'm just going to subtract S from each side and rearrange it slightly. Okay, so that's in the standard quadratic format. Normally we talk about quadratics as being ax squared plus bx plus c. Slightly confused by the fact we have actually got an a in there already. For our normal quadratic, that is our a, that bit there is our b, and that bit there is our c. Okay, so it's kind of weird because we've got an a for the first coefficient and an a for acceleration. Don't get them mixed up. Okay, so just to clarify here, for our quadratic, the formula for a quadratic, normally it's in x equals minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac whole thing over 2a. In our particular case, our a is a half a, which is slightly weird. Our b is u, and our c is minus s. Okay. So, if you got stuck on the second half and weren't quite sure how to substitute in, that's the quadratic formula, and you of course are going to be using t instead of x, and these are what you're going to be using instead of a, b and c. So if you got stuck and you didn't manage to do this, if you want to have a go at it now, you can do. Right, here's the substituting in. Instead of x we are using t equals, instead of minus b, we're using u, so minus u plus or minus the square root of our b squared is u squared minus 4 times by our a is a half a and our c is negative s. Whole thing over 2a, which is a half a. Okay, I'm just going to tidy this all up a little bit now. Okay, so there's our formula for t. T equals minus u plus or minus the square root of u squared plus 2as whole thing over a. Again, 2as is one of these things that crops up in formulas from now and time. Okay, so that's part A done. I'm going to wipe down the board, and then what we're going to do is substitute into this to find out what the t is for the particular values we've got. So I'll see you in a minute for part B. Right, I've written the formula we just had up there at the top, and this time Batty is giving you the information. When she threw the ball downwards, she threw it with an initial velocity of 5 meters per second. Okay, it travels 60 meters in total, and at the time is undergoing acceleration due to gravity, which we can take as 10 meters per second squared. Question is, how long does it take to fall those 60 meters? Okay, off you go with that. This part's pretty simple really. We're simply going to substitute into our formula. So minus u, so that's negative 5, plus or minus the square root of u squared, that's 25, plus 2 times, what's a, 10 times 60. Whole thing over 10. Okay? Right, now a bit of speeded up stuff while we do the number crunching. Right, so we've ended down here with the square root of 1225, which is 35. So we've got negative 5 plus 35. Negative 5 plus 35 is 30, divided by 10 gives you an answer of 3, and those are seconds. Or negative 5 take away 35, that's negative 40, divided by 10 gives you an answer of negative 4. Okay, so the answers we've got are 3 or negative 4. Given that this one is a time question, we only use the positive answer because it's not going to have travelled 60 metres 4 seconds before she threw it. That's not the answer we need for this one here. So there we go, the answer of 3 seconds. Hope you had fun with that, and I'll see you for a little bit more revision another time. Bye for now.